Welcome to our Super Saturday recall. Let's take you back to 1994, round 16, MCG, packed house, the Dougie Hawkins game, where he equals a great E.J. Witten's games record at the Dogs, and we're underway. Both these teams are hot coming into this. Maxfield gets a little handball out and tapped toward the boundary by Stuart Edwards. Both these teams are in good winning form coming into this, even though they're 7th and 8th on the ladder. Richo, one of those who's having a good year. 8 goals in round 1 when the two teams met earlier in the season. Dropped to the 2s and then back into the 1s. So up and down season for the young Matthew Richardson in 94. Shot out to Wayne Campbell, and he stars in this one. Little bounce. You've got to see how good the great Wayne Campbell really was. Run down from behind, but he was quick enough to get the handball to the captain, Tony Free. Kick smothered. Danny Southern jumps in. Rowan Smith. Free kick's been found. And it's going to Matthew Rogers, the South Australian. Heads long inside 50 to Richo. Dumped away by Crediuk. Watts. Little bounce from half back in some space. Chased down by Bauer, but he got a kick away and lace out to Chris Grant.
Scotty Turner picking him up.
Ilya Grigic in the goal square, long and just to the wrong side. So Footscray 7th with 7 wins, Richmond 8th with 8 wins at this stage of the season, round 16 at the MCG. And there's Scotty Turner. A trademark look, the mullet, the socks down, and a long kick of the ball. He was given the kick because he normally put it into the centre square.
He's kicked it straight to Ilya.
Yes, biggest man on the ground.
I like it though. The game plan of kicking it on the head of someone from the opposition was in vogue at that time. Let him get the knees in the back from everyone coming at him. Rogers. Long towards, or Gale drops back with the flight. Southern with him. No mark. Danny Southern. Speaking of trademark looks, to Quill. Clever little kick around the body to Rowan Smith. Just 21 years of age in game 27 here, the 300 game star for the Dogs. Hunter, little knockout. Watts. Time to settle. 50,000 at the MCG for this one. Croft.
He's a good swingman in his day as well, Croft.
Grandy gets there late. Knocks it to the deck. Richard Osborne, Atkins getting each other's way. Leon Cameron, the Giants coach, got a handball out to Grant. And his kick a little too wide.
See Leon's quick step then. He just avoided the traffic. A couple of really quick steps off the mark.
Look at this here, Derm, as well. Throughout his career, 172 games at the Dogs, then went over to the Tigers. That was a big move, that one. The decision that was made for Leon to move on. He was very good. 256 games, 108 goals. Now coaching the Giants.
Greg Deere, who you know so well, Derm.
Yep.
Premiership star with the Hawks.
Good player.
Has moved to the stage. Brendan Gale run down and slammed into the deck by Southern. Matty Knight, speaking of AFL coaches, a little touch and a Richo thumped clear by Crediuk. Got a big fist on that. Bauer. Handball cut off though by Quill on the run. On his left. Granny gets down low. Can't get low enough. Turner. Just a slick start. Kellaway. Back again. Little 1-2 perhaps. No. Goes to Bauer instead. And he blasts it to half forward. Richardson. Keenan Reynolds with a big fist this time. Scotty West, the young Scotty West.
What's really interesting is there's been 4 one-on-one battles with the big Richmond key forwards, and the smaller Doggies defenders have spoilt them every time.
Yeah, what's working for the Dogs is the hit up around centre half forward, the short, but the bomb in long inside 50 isn't quite working.
Turner playing just in front of Grant, and Grigic through his hands. Koliniuk. There's the opener from Steve Koliniuk.
Did you want to make it go through, Jono?
Yes. He had a little handball over the top there, Billy, but
yes,
he was so smart in the way that he played his footy. Just sharp around the feet of the bigs. Ilya should have nailed this one. He tapped it on in a way. It looked like that from Ilya. I reckon he deliberately tapped that over the top.
Let the ball get behind his head.
I think
very difficult to mark
the shape of his hand. He tapped that onto Billy. That was smart from Ilya.
You're very kind.
Very smart.
And kind.
That's the voice of Brad Johnson, the Bulldogs games record holder. with 364 to his name, looking after a few of his old teammates. He's a young buck on the list at this stage, Brad Johnson, but he didn't get a game if you joined us late. Atkins thumps it back inside 50. Croft, Daffy caught him. Colin-Yook again.
Good dish off, wasn't it? Croft there. You see Deere up against Wine. They would have rucked against each other 15 times before this occasion. Both very experienced players, and Deere took a different angle on him in the centre circle then. Here's the big kick, Dwayne.
Yeah, into the square every time. And here is Big Ilya with the gloves.
Picked him out a second time.
Trademark gloves. A mongrel inside 50. Jamie Tape were in the 5. That's Edwards in the 18. And Nick Daffy in the 44 to Brendan Gale.
First mark.
Current boss of Richmond.
First mark forward of centre by a key forward.
Towards Richardson, caught behind, forced to fist it down. Got it to ground. Wallace, West, through Cameron's hands, off free, caught a little high, played on to disadvantage, maybe. He has. And Richardson, ugly bounce. Keenan Reynolds, run down from behind. Mark Neal, cut him down. Had to be out of play, surely. Neal, play on, goal! That was out of play.
It was. Was that Chris Bond, I think, who...
No, it was Nash.
Was it Nash, was it, who got it back over his head? Okay. It's pretty smart in the end to keep it alive. That was the free kick. Played on.
Yeah, just didn't hear the whistle go. Who is it?
Well, that's Richo there. Credit to Reynolds, who gets run down.
Good spoil here with the tackle. So he's been rewarded.
It is. It is Nash.
No, it was Bondi, I think.
Goal stands.
There you go.
Freezer with the kick out. Benny Gale having an influence early. Southern riding him though. Little Libber in there, jumps in as he always does. Scotty Wine, the Brownlow medalist, to Hunter. He blasts it a little wide. Kellaway in the 3. Ilya nearly took him down.
Very good player, Duncan Kellaway. Undersized, key defender. Could move around a fair bit with a smaller, agile player, but very good body play and read the ball beautifully through the air. Awkward looking kick. You wouldn't have called him a great player if you looked at his kicking style, but he was fantastic.
Probably why they played him back so often, or as a tagger as well. Turner gets there with a fist. Got enough of it to knock it toward the boundary. Croft keeps it alive. Outside of the boot from Osborne, I think. Only a behind. Yeah, Richard Osborne. What an amazing career he had. Fitzroy, Sydney, Footscray and Collingwood for his 283 games. Turner.
Played a lot of State of Origin footy with Aussie. He was a tremendous player. Brilliant.
Kicked off the deck by Free. Don't forget you can join us. Hashtag Fox Footy on Twitter, Facebook and at foxfooty.com.au. Rowan Smith, if you're watching, give us a call, Smithy.
He's watching. Don't worry about that, Dwayne. Big shout out to Smitty. He had some good battles with Rogers throughout the career.
Inside 50, the ball to Tape again, who gave it to Daffy. Watts, Bauer, boundary line.
So just on that, what you're seeing, someone like Nick Daffy going to the back flank, only a youngster then, but there was a belief in this era that Richmond kicked the ball poorly off their half back line. So you put them under pressure and they'd give it back to you.
Long launch, Ilya Grigic, and Edwards flicks it away from him. Mark Hunter, 28 years of age at this stage. He's one of the more senior dogs in this lineup. Some young dogs, though, playing in this one. As I mentioned, Rowan Smith, just 21 years of age.
Deary, I've only got a little bloke on me. Give it to me.
Turner again, straight down the middle, almost to the centre of the ground. Quill. So it's already 2 kicks from goal. Cameron feeds it out wide. Westy. Oh, dance step inside was delightful. Handball not so good. Maxfield in the long blonde hair jumps in. Oh, a little one from Libber there.
Libber and Bondi going at it. They'd love to battle to scrap those two.
Yes.
It was Bondi who kicked that one over his shoulder before, back in.
Chris Bond, the footy ops manager for Fremantle, of course, has been a great servant of footy for a long, long time now.
Westy hasn't got an opponent here.
Ball thumped wide. Little roller inside 50 to Ilya. Long way down with the glove one. Slaps it out. And Bondi, I think, again caught a little high. Maxfield play on to advantage. And he blasts it long, hoping for Richo. Didn't quite get to him. Credial. Hammered it forward. Nation there in the 6. Good collect. 30-metre handball into space. Richo, fake one way, onto the left.
Did that well, didn't he?
He did. I don't know why he turned onto his left foot, though.
Yeah, well, they read him to turn onto his right, so he turned them inside out. He just didn't have the finishing.
Strong bench there. Hawkins, Beveridge, Kim Costa.
So Doug Hawkins equaling EJ's record of 321 games in this one, and yet he starts on the bench. And he still hasn't seen any action yet. Watts in front of Bauer.
Who was coach this day? Was it
Alan Joyce?
Alan Joyce was coach. Yeah, Terry Wheeler got the sack round 2, 94.
Yep.
And then Joyce took over.
And Terry Wallace is an assistant in this game as well.
And the reserves coach, Terry Wallace.
So the ball out of play. 1994, if you've just joined us, round 16, MCG, 7th versus 8th on the ladder. And at this stage, Richmond have won their past 4 games in a row. Footscray have won their past 3. And if you want to get on, Roderick, Hunter.
I was actually trying to work out what that was, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Now I'm with you.
Inside 50. Grant half held by Turner. And Chris Grant to line up.
I hardly had any one-on-one contest, but you can see already Chris Grant's mobility, not just his size. Well, Scotty Turner's a big fella, but see how he just turned outwards, outward bounds with the last couple of steps. His mobility is just causing Turner a little bit of distress at this point in time.
So the Bulldogs director of football, Chris Grant, also 21 years of age at this stage, but he's already playing game 90 in this one. Ilya, one grab, not the second. Or tied off the deck. Richard Osborne, and he normally nailed those. Aussie.
Kicked it too hard.
But hit the belly of the ball.
Yep.
Aussie's 30 years of age at this stage, though, in game 211.
Is that Scotty Cummings?
Aussie tried out as a punter, I think, for the NFL earlier in this, earlier in the pre-season.
Oh, he was a monster kick when he was younger. He barreled them. He might kick it straight to the Bulldogs. They've returned both his kicks.
Yeah, it's not really working, this kick out.
Thanks for your tweet, Shano, as well, by the way. Keep your tweets coming in. Hashtag Fox Footy, and we'll keep giving them a run. So where's Richo? From behind, Benny Gale front spot. Big Benny. Look at that hair.
Look at that. Yeah, that's legitimate. That's been permed up for this game, I reckon.
Think so?
No.
Look at that.
See, just the reach against Danny Southern there. Wonderful player, Danny Southern. Great clubman. Just rabid in his endeavours, but just lacked on the size there to get anywhere near the ball.
We struck it pretty well as well. He has slotted it straight over the goal umpire's beautiful white hat and coat. I'd love it if he still had that. Oh, look at that. In the Ramones T-shirt.
Absolutely rocking it. I'd love Benny to shout us out a message and let us know where he got his haircut done for this day, because he looks sensational.
The Ramones sold more T-shirts than they did records, didn't they? And he's standing with someone who's wearing a Led Zeppelin T-shirt.
Look at his CV. Look at that. 244 games. CEO premierships with the Tigers. Life member.
You know, he had his own band.
Yes, he did. That used to
Trial by video.
That's right.
Mark Zanotti, Paul Bullis, Tony Woods.
Was Jimmy Manson in that?
And here he is, the lead guitarist, Benny Gale from Trial by Video, kicking it towards Richo, who looks like he should be in the Ramones with a hairdo as well. Credial breaks free. Heads toward the midfield. Bond, nice front and centre crumb. Back long inside 50, Rogers and Keenan Reynolds over the top.
The thing is, with a lot of Bulldogs players, like Bob Murphy wants to be a rock star, doesn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, and then you got the Tigers, they've got it. Richo desperately wants to be a rock star.
Yeah, if he had his choice, it'd probably be the bass player for the Ramones rather than a footballer for Richmond. What a star he did become, Matthew Richardson. In this stage, he's only young into his career as well, Richo. So we're going to see some of the young stars in this game that really grew into great careers. He's 19 years of age, Richo, in this one in game 25, and ended up playing 282 games and kicking 800 goals. Scotty West.
So West hasn't had an opponent at the stoppages yet.
Collingwood. Richard Osborne beaten by Tape.
Did well.
No longer with us, the late Jamie Tape, which is sad news.
Oh, didn't know that. No.
75 games for Richmond and 16 for Collingwood, and Brendan Gale. He's dominating. Straight down the spine towards Richo. Critical right with him. On the 19-year-old with the experience. Reynolds. Rowan Smith normally hits a target, does here.
There's good balance with Smith being in that back line, isn't it? He's a beautiful kick, but he's also got express foot pace to get away from trouble.
Brendan Gale, what about the turn? Oh, I just dropped it on the deck.
Oh, you got away with one there, Benny.
Oh.
Brendan.
We look here and look at the changing game. 94 in terms of total hit-outs. 35 total hit-outs per game. And then you look at what we get now in 2019 with the amount of numbers around the ball and stoppage after stoppage.
Little Libba.
And just, we'll wait for this marking contest, but just be on the lookout for how many people try and bash Libba. He's a ripper, Libba. I love him.
Oh, nice delicate pass there too.
Don't they go after him, though?
Well, he was a tagger back in the day, so...
28 years of age at this stage. Tony Liberatore, the Brownlow medalist. Griggy can't pull it down. Westy does. Gives it to Collingwood, number 2.
Both left footers.
For Steve Collingwood.
No, it was a righty, wasn't it? Both snaps, front and centre.
They were, and that's what Billy could do. Westy was brilliant below his knees. We saw that throughout his stellar career.
How did he get Billy out of a surname Collingwood?
Don't know. I turned up and it was Billy, so I just kept calling him Billy. So,
he's thereabouts, though, isn't he? He's jumping on the spot with those front and centres.
Yeah, very good player. Smart, just smart.
This era, he did a big sidestep and ran around somebody on the mark.
Graham Wright at the MCG against Collingwood to win the game for the Dogs, and that's what really set everyone alight in terms of Billy standing in the game.
Great memories, guys. This was the era of the nickname as well, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Even if it was just a play on your surname, like the Hawk for Dougie Hawkins.
The Axe.
The Axe.
There you go.
Granny was Turtle.
Keep them coming, Jono. Richard Osborne kicks over his head.
Aussie.
Oh, he's
calling you again.
Oh.
Not this time.
No. Yeah, Granny just had a look over his shoulder. Little give. He does have a bit of blinkers on, doesn't he?
Billy?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a small forward, of course. That's the way to survive back in the day.
Beautiful kicking action, Stuart Edwards, for a big man.
Yeah, still only 21 at this stage as Ilya steals it and blasts it back. Ooh, just through for a behind you. 21 years of age in game 21, Stuart Edwards. 2-1 to 2-6, so they've been a little wasteful.
What's the bet? This ain't going short.
Scott Turner. 24 years of age.
Hasn't looked to a pocket.
And in the end, I might just go long, down the middle into the square. Ilya.
3 on 2.
Broderick. Paul Broderick hands it out to the captain, Tony Free. A little mongrel towards Mark Neal with Reynolds right with him. Brendan Gale back the other way. Slaps it out, but Scotty West is also 19 years of age in game 30 at this stage. A great 7-time best and fairest with the Dogs. Collingwood, he was dominating.
And Nick Duffy's just finding him a little bit elusive at the moment.
Quill. Oh, mark that. Knuckle breaker through for a behind.
That's the type of kick you used to do in the change rooms, the deliberate floater.
Yeah.
Just mucking around. Quilly's just nailed that perfectly.
Your teammates' fingers.
It was a good day, the day you mastered the floater in the change rooms.
I reckon his career, metres gained, Scotty Turner's winning this year.
Another blast all the way to the wing this time, all the way to the logo.
If he actually played onto himself, he'd get it to centre forward.
He only had 6 kicks or 6 possessions in this game total, but his kick-ins were spectacular.
Yeah, right.
Mark Neal, the former Melbourne coach, plays on. Heads toward the goal square. Richo, he's kicked that. He's dropped that on his foot. Hang on. And it was by accident, wasn't it?
Surely a score review.
There's Wally, Stephen Wallace.
Goal. Did he accidentally drop that on his foot?
Yep. Absolutely.
Can we give him the benefit of the doubt?
No, he accidentally kicked that. That's what you call a very good miss.
Well, we used to do some clinics and stuff, and Richo would always talk about the hole in the bucket. You can't have a hole in your bucket when you're having a going for a chest mark. Well, Richo, you got the hole in the bucket.
Dear Liza.
Shit. Yeah, sometimes you have a very good miss, and that was one.
Wow. All right, we're underway again. This is a good game. Slick pace, free. And the mark for Rogers at centre-half forward.
Peter Wilson is in the forward line for the Tigers. He flashed through the scene a few times. Ended up playing in a premiership with the Eagles after his stint.
See if he cranks this up. Matthew Rogers here. 197 games in the end for Richmond to the square. And through for a behind. There he is, nearly. 48 games for Geelong, 26 for Richmond, 22 years of age at this stage, the former Melbourne coach.
We've got a tweet in there from Ross Pollard. Duncan Kellaway, as brave as they come, and tagged Nathan Buckley with great success on a number of occasions, kept him to single figures at least once.
Got some Brownlow votes in this game as well. We'll talk about that a little later, but we'll see what kind of game he plays to get them. He must have had an impact. It bounces over his head there as we're talking about him. Richard Osman, there's the ball handling skills. Gave it to Atkins. Crunched by Bond. Should never have given that handball. Wayne Campbell with the hair flowing. Speaking of hair, Stewie Maxfield.
He loved the run.
Couple of bounces. Hits a good spot with the kick. Richo at the back. He's been called back. Free kick, little nudge out.
Don't know what that's for. Very light. I'll take back that one about Pete Wilson too. He'd left by then. Mark Neal's doing a very good Pete Wilson disguise. Just same hairdo, and not near the ball like Willow.
There are some names that surprise you when you see them bob up. Crofty with the blind turn out of trouble to Chris Grant. Time to steady. Keeps it low. Gift for Wind. Lace out on the goal line.
Windy just hanging back in the goal square.
Well, we're already seeing this game is the doggies are getting more of it by punishing Richmond's turnovers.
That's right, off half back. And you look at Leon Cameron here. Watch the left foot. Jason Watts doesn't break stride.
Perfect kick.
It was. And then they're able to flow from here. Crofty halves the contest against Callaway. Gets it over to Granny. And then the flow-on effect with Scotty Wine. The skipper just sitting in the goal square all by himself.
Beautiful kicking, whereas Richmond couldn't exactly do the same. Did Simon Atkins ever play a game not wearing long sleeves? Jono?
No, I can't remember Axe not being in.
Bit like Michael Tack.
Yeah.
Although Tacky played the 87 grand final in short sleeve.
Oh, Ilias just decked someone. Big Ilia.
That's all right. He put Bondi on his backside. Bondi's trying to tag today, so...
Who's he tagging? He's not tagging liver, is he?
Imagine that for a
Leon
concert.
Cameron,
Leon Cameron.
There he is. Chris Bond, 25 years of age in game.
It might be Steve Wallace,
46,
actually.
okay.
Having a look before.
He's just the type of player coaches would have loved to have coached Chris Bond.
Yep.
Do everything asked of him within his capabilities.
Carlton, Richmond, Fremantle. He could play, and he nails that one.
Alan Jeans used to talk about who's the best player I've coached. I'm not telling you, but who's the best player to coach? And he would name a bloke called Barry Lawrence, the best player to coach. Here's the free kick here, high over the shoulder there. And Ilya gets one on the way through. Hang on.
Oh, he's
very
flopped.
light,
Bondi's
very light.
flopped.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
But Chris Bond strikes me as one who coaches would nominate as a great player to coach.
Yep, definitely.
Picked a poor time to give him a rap, though, with that little flop.
Works for the team.
Half forward Kellaway, there's that fist. He's on Croft at this stage, so he thumps that away. Tape in the 5, little Libber in the 39. Look at that start.
Oh, what a hit.
Absolutely brilliant. To Watts. Turned over to Broderick. Gale. Rogers waits down, so does Knights. Matty Knights to Brendan Gale. Support from Bauer, who also likes to run. plants his foot into this one to Maxfield, dropping into the hole in front of Neil.
Matty Knight set that up. His front and square work then.
Yeah.
He just sat there beautifully, knew the ball was going to come straight down, and that's what started this chain of handball.
You have picked a good one from the vault here. This is good contest.
It is.
And Westy's on,
Yes.
on Stewie Maxfield. So Westy at this stage hasn't really put defence into his game.
Maxfield struck that pretty well too. And he gets it there. The pack collapsed.
Surely that's a push.
Oh, Richo, the little clap in the face.
You can still do anything on the goal line today
Clap
and
in
get
the
away with it.
face.
Keenan Reynolds not happy.
I'm always staggered, Jono. You are allowed to do on the goal line what can be done nowhere else on the field.
Exactly right. It is amazing, but that's just one of the quirks of the game.
Now watch Westy trail in.
Yeah.
Oh no, somebody else can spoil that. Oops, that's my man.
Oh, he was a bit unlucky there, Westy, but
Bit unlucky.
Clear
He hasn't
push.
been near him.
clear push.
Richard Osborne half forward on Jamie Tape.
He's actually playing as the lead-up centre-half forward, Aussie.
Chris Grant, a couple of dummy leads, and
Oh,
now
wow.
out to the side. Superstar Chris Grant.
That's the type of sideways shuffle and then make a deliberate and committed run. He's gone to his right-hand side every time after a little shuffle and a display of deception. I see
You can see
Scotty
it there,
Turner just
yeah.
turned around. Has to play 5 in front because he can't sprint with him. So he's got to play in front, and that takes his eyes off him.
And he kicks this one on cue as well. 341 games, 555 goals for Chris Grant by the end of his splendid career at his 21 years of age at this stage.
It's a good game.
Fair first quarter when you look at nine goals so far in the
7
quarter.
shots to 11.
Yep.
The year's Coleman race. Gary Ablett had another wonderful year after moving to full forward. Gary Lyon, 79. The horse was 78. And of course, Sticks, the champion.
Gary kicked 10 in a final in that year as well.
Yeah, Pigs on 100.
Free. Yeah, the Coleman, of course, was before the finals started, so goals added during the finals after that. Rogers picks and kicks and can't nail that one, Matthew Rogers. Won the goal kicking for Richmond one year with 37.
He's a good player. Good player.
Was Richo injured that year?
Must have been.
He did have a knee injury one year.
Yep.
Benny Gale. Mark Neeld on the move.
Oh, give that some air.
Richo got there, and he's got it, big Richo.
Not his mark.
Wow.
You got to touch it first, Matthew. Keenan Reynolds, hands on.
Good umpiring.
Yes.
I always reckon they should be holding the ball, because if you try and bluff the umpire, you're running the risk of copping it.
Like your thought process, Derm Cricket. So if you jump on a half volley, try to mark it, is that jumping on the ball?
Well, if you try and claim it.
Gale stalks it. Oh, is that a
under the
free kick?
ribs. That's a free kick against Gale in this day and age. That is making contact with lower than the leg, but in that day and age,
Oh,
he did. Danny Southern was kind to him too. Good mark.
Oh,
I gave him a bit. He's giving him a massage.
Well, he kicked 8 against us in round 1, so Creditors is doing everything he possibly can to
Look at this. Watch
make
the
it difficult
massage.
for Richo.
Right arm from Critter. Watch it. Just massage. Once he hits the deck. Oh, left heel to the elbow, to the ear. Come on.
So Richo.
How do you reckon he goes here, Jono?
I reckon he'll nail this. He got lucky with his first.
What's he holding the ball for? Almost looks like a drop punt, but not quite.
Oh, there's that Bond-Liberatore relationship, which went a long, long way in the history of the game. Richo. Oh, he got close to the man on the
that's
mark.
way across.
Siren sounds. Quarter time in this 1994 round 16 clash at the MCG. These two teams playing to get themselves inside the top 8. Great to have your company on Fox Footy. Welcome back to the MCG. 1994 round 16. Second quarter underway. Richmond by
Recall it.
2 points. Slammed inside 50. Daffy backs back. Grant got there. Knocked it straight to Richard Osman. Little lockout, the little libber. Quill. Kick smothered. Back to Quill. Bond had him, didn't have it. Nice turn from Grant. Goal square, Ilya. And the glove one has it knocked away.
You described it beautifully. Just a wonderful turn out of traffic from Chris Grant for such a big man. So agile. But Libby was really good there from the... He was almost in a tunnel of Richmond players, wasn't he? But still was able to feed it out.
49,878 here for this one between two informed teams looking to play their way into the 8. And this was 1994 when there was a top 8 system for the first time ever. It was 6 teams in 93 and 8 in 94. 15 teams in the comp. Fitzroy still alive. And the Brisbane Bears were with us at that stage. Atkins, flying shot, behind.
Wonder if Westy had a little bit of a pep up from Coach Joyce about just get a little closer to him, please.
Well, he dominates this game, Westy, in the end, so I think he might have had a talking to it quarter time because he does dominate. There's a tweet coming in. How many goal assists did Richard Osman have in his career? Would have had a shot from anywhere. He actually taught me only handball inside 50 when you're getting tackled. That was...
Scotty Turner.
He was a gun, Aussie.
He's everyone in the ground knows where he's going except for Scotty. He feigns he's going to go somewhere else.
And again, he's got it all the way to the wing. Quill back inside 50 towards Grant, and he got there low.
Can't follow his man out. That's
because he's watching his kick from the kick out. And he's just thinking, please clear the area, boys.
So what are the options there? Because if I'm sitting in the coach's box next to the Richmond hierarchy, I'm saying if Grant gets on a roll by foot, he's looking at a big bag today.
That's right, and it's more about the way it's coming back so quickly, I think, on those kick-outs. I think that's the key for Richmond to try and change that structure up.
So Grant for the opening goal of the second quarter. Perfect. Good game, this one. And Mitch, another tweet. The hairstyles, they are fantastic styles. You had one of the iconic styles back in the day as well. Derm, what were you running with at this stage, John?
No, I tamed it down a little bit. Yeah, I got married in 94.
So is that calling the Bulldogs the boy band? Or is that
grunge bands?
The grunge band is... the grunge has to be Gale's hairstyle.
Well,
Richo.
Cambo. Yeah. Deary's still running with a touch of a mullet.
Libba would love being classed in a boy band.
He's just got the dunny brush.
Watts hit the belly of the ball. It's a little wide. Grant. Good leap.
Granty's got the boy band.
You still had the blonde, though, didn't you? You weren't
a little bit of... Yes.
When did you change from red to blonde, to strawberry blonde to blonde?
Took me to about 18 years of age.
Little Libba. Sparkling. But he misses that one.
Look at that. You could just put a big oversized cooking pot on his head and just circle it around and you clean it out, you scour it out.
They're costing themselves here. 5 goals, 9.
Yeah.
Some easy misses.
You've got to get skill into this team. Hence Johnson coming in a couple of weeks later.
Straight down the middle to the centre of the ground again.
It's not working.
Marked by Cameron. There's no one there to punch it on. Cameron back to the goal square. Turner, Grant, dragged down. Behind.
Scotty, now I want you to have a good hard think. You've had 10 goes at it, 9 goes at it. Just try and mix it up. Mix it up.
Well, it's working. The Dogs aren't scoring goals.
They might kill him with points.
Oh, he's gone wide with this one.
Pierces it, though, doesn't he?
He does.
To the doggies.
Watts. Cameron waiting back for it again. He's getting plenty of it. Sun in the eyes of Scotty West. Plays on quickly. Bullet pass. Grant had a big piece of it, not enough of it.
He led a straight line up the middle and Turner was able to follow him out.
Collingwood feeds it out. And it's a little wide as well.
So you can work that out. If you're a line coach, you'd go out to ground and say, the one time he stayed with you on the lead is when you let it dead straight line up the middle. If you want to lead up the middle, at least take him out on an angle and then veer your lead back to the kicker.
Scotty West's coming back again. The 19-year-old's got it.
He's had a bit of it already.
Wearing the 14 that his son wears. Back inside 50. Thumped over the line. Edwards in the 18. Some old style names. Keep the tweets coming in if you remember this game or you're watching it for the first time. Broderick, you're watching it for the first time. It's a game worth watching because it goes to the wire. You barrack your team home. Ball knocked down, middle of the ground. Wayne Campbell, oh, good sidestep. Oh, Ole with the bullfighter move through the middle, lifted the ball over his head. Back inside 50. Keenan Reynolds.
He had Maxfield out wide. He had Maxfield out wide. He's not the best of kicks going inside forward 50. It was just a sideways handball and would have gone to the goal line.
This is the first season, number 3 for Chris Grant. Yes, it was. So he wore 29 for 4 years prior to this, Granny. And then he jumped into the number 3. Famous number at the club.
Yeah, and he wore it well. Brendan Gale.
Very well.
Just a bomb. He kicked it wide, though.
Big kick. Who were some of the other doggies' number? Alan Stoneham, I think, wore it.
Wow.
But apart from the great EJ.
Yeah.
EJ, of course. Calvin Templeton.
31 was Kelvin, wasn't he?
Bauer plays on quickly and hits the top of the square. Reynolds behind. Kneeled. Mark kneeled. Good grab.
Started at Geelong, had the 3 seasons there. I think he got 3 seasons out at the Tigers. He was, once again, a swing man who had good pace for a bloke around the 6'2.5" mark, 6'3" maybe. Good pace, good wheels. Not overly powerful as a, you know, a physical specimen, but could play the game and good wheels.
He had good acceleration, you're right, Derm. Especially a couple of steps and he was into it. He could get away from an opponent, and that's why they played him back a little as well. Here he comes from 35, directly out, and he's got it. This ripper contest continues. 1994, round 16, if you've just joined us.
There it is, Mark Neal, 90 to 93 over 4 seasons there, and 94 for the 4, 5, 6, 3 seasons there. So what's he? Yeah, he's played the 7 years, 74 games. You would have played with him?
Yeah, I did play with him at Geelong, yes, absolutely I did.
Start of his career?
Yeah. Yep. And one of those, you know, for a while competed with for a spot because we were both, you know, that 17th or 18th or 19th picked.
Yep.
And this isn't the day where, if you're on the bench, you might not get a run till late. Dougie Hawkins is on the bench in this game right now.
It is. In
his milestone game, and he hasn't had a run yet.
He hasn't. And that happened all the time. Why did he get the ball and would all nestle in behind him trying to get the handball received?
Jamie Tape out wide to Knights. So Dougie Hawkins is on the bench, hasn't had a run. Brian Lees is on the bench for Richmond, hasn't had a run. John Howard on the bench for Richmond, hasn't had a run yet.
Howard.
Campbell.
Melbourne player as well.
Benny Gale caught behind, got there late. Sensational.
Brendan Gale, he was very good. He just launched at the footy, good hands. He's going the journey.
He's having a crack.
Pumps it, goal square. Kneeled almost. Naish. Kick smothered.
So the Tigers aren't all... If you're being critical on it, if you're in the coach's box this day, you'd have to suggest that they're not using the ball best from going forward. It's all pretty long bombs to an area rather than to the player's advantage. Going very well, Brendan Gale.
Rogers. Nearly got it to the goalkeeper on the line, Steve Credior.
He didn't have great balance, that goal umpire tapping his leg. He stood on one leg and could barely do it.
Switched the core on Dern.
Been a call to get the coats back, though, Dern. Do you like the coats on the umpires?
Yes. You've got to love the butcher's coat.
Cameron.
So
how did we come up with that, honestly? Who put the goal umpires in that sort of coat to start with?
I thought it was an ice cream vendor's coat, wasn't it?
See the difference here in the kick-in. At least they get it to the wing. Oh, well done. But they've retained 4 possessions before the Tigers get a look at it.
Knights. Richardson slides in. He's probably within range here. The young colt from Devonport.
Well, he liked it. The shot at quarter time wasn't great, Richo. So he loved it when he could launch it a little bit bigger.
Great pickup, great kick. Yeah, you need the ball in the hands of Matty Knights a lot more if you want to get full-toed odds for a kick going forward. He's a good-looking young man, Richo, wasn't he?
He's a rooster. Absolutely. 19 years of age. Has he got it in him?
His distance.
Not bad. Oh, touched on the line. Goal review again we need.
I love the confidence of the goal umpires, though. That's touched.
Yeah.
Move on.
What about that? I'm having none of that. Kick it in. Keenan Reynolds with the ball. So we've got the huddle.
We've got a huddle here.
And we'll get a couple of spear leads short.
We've got a break.
Wide. Hang on.
Oh, no,
he wants the huddle.
So Alan Joyce coaching against John Northey in this game. John Northey
look for the knock on there, Windy.
Yeah,
Bit of a
like
set
it.
player, I remember that.
Atkins to West. Collingwood playing well. Couple of goals in the opening term. Feeds it inside. Cameron through his hands. Nearly mopped up his mess. Has mopped it up.
Work for him.
Gets a goal. He's mopped it up. Grigic. Was it just
I'll tell you who'd love that bit of vision. Every GWS player right now has just texted the coach.
But there was no head duck. He just dropped it.
They just dropped the sit-up.
Yeah. The one thing Joyce used to do on the kick-ins, he'd make the huddle. Every odd point kick-in, you'd have a break.
Yep.
Other than that, you kicked up the middle or to the points of the square.
Yeah, points of the square are always a big one for us in those days. And then Windy would knock it onto the wing.
Yep.
And you just get that burst of play.
Yeah, and target up the break from the huddle on the odd points.
Broderick to Edwards to Brendan Gale, who is dominating. Out to Free, bounced off, got a kick away. Was it touched? Richo reckons it's home. Crediuk says no. Goal umpire, as you said, Derm, no arguing. It is a goal, not touched, to Tony Free.
Yeah, the goal umpire treated him like Marcel Marceau then. It's just as if he wasn't there.
Richo!
He's clapped the bear.
He clapped in the face earlier. He gives him a little tap on the back.
Don't do that, Richo.
Richo's turned his midriff away from him, thinking, I'm going to cop one in the nurries here.
Yeah, the boy from St Albans.
Strong man. Yeah, sometimes just take the win and move on.
Yep.
He's got some spunk. The 19-year-old from Devonport, Matthew Richardson. Liberatore pumps it back to half forward to Kellaway. Good grab.
I must say, I was bewildered why the umpire allowed a play-on situation after Brendan Gale marked it, though.
That's true. Wayne Campbell on the move.
Bring it back.
Yes.
Naish out in front, thumped away by Wallace. Rogers with Smith. Smith kept it alive, kept it in front, gave it the lever.
Great play.
Good delivery to Scotty West. There's that early bounce, that trademark early bounce to settle. Couple more to go with it. To Quill on the back pedal. Croft. Oh, plenty of time. Dances around them. Has the bounce. Put it in the book. No.
It's a soda.
Wow. 5-12.
Would have just set us up that. Imagine the emotion that would have spilled over after that passage of play.
Don't you get critical of it, Jono. This is probably why you got a game in 14 days' time.
I got a game because Rowan Smith had his collarbone broken by Gary Ablett the following week. That's how
I did that.
That's how I got in.
Tony Free. Heads long. Where's Richo? Where's Brendan Gale? Where's Neildy? Little nudge out.
Courage.
Okay, and Neilwood again.
I thought it was tremendous courage from Steve Wallace backing back into the pack.
He was a fantastic player, Steve Wallace, wasn't he? Haven't seen much of him today. Was he playing on the back flank?
He was floating between midfield and half-back.
Right. Yeah, he sort of spent more time there at this stage of his career, 30 years of age and more.
Just floating. Good use of the ball. Smart player.
Smart player.
Yeah.
For number 3, Mark Neeld. Directly out, 45 out, it drifts. Are behind. So still, no Doug Hawkins in his milestone game. Luke Beveridge finally out there. They've made a move off the bench.
He's on his toes. He's ready to go, Bevo.
Skateboarded to the game.
He did. His style hasn't changed for Bevo either.
Look at his CV there.
He was brilliant. My first kick in league footy went to Luke Beveridge, of all people.
Great memory. 23
23
years of age at the stage. Luke Beveridge of his career, and amazing to think he's now a premiership coach with the Doggies.
And played most of his footy at St Kilda. 45 was the most he got at one club. See, I kind of associate him with Melbourne more than, and Doggies more than that.
Long launch, goal square, nice! Wow! Bit of hang time. That was a cracker.
The pack formed in front of him and became stationary. It was the only thing that just needed a little ladder up the side of it, and he could have got higher.
And the finish to go with it. Highlight of the afternoon here at the MCG. It's a good early jump too.
Yeah, you're right, because he nearly marks it when he's back on the ground. Pop back. Good grab.
I think Brendan Gabba would have grasped it anyway.
So here is the mark of the year in '94.
Come on, that's drop of the year. Oh, come on. We had Eddie on this morning talking about all things he disliked. That's going to get a run as well.
He brought to ground.
Without control. It was a great leap.
I wonder what the second best mark of '94 was that missed out that year. Cameron heads wide. Great game, this one. Hope you're enjoying it as much as we're enjoying bringing it to you. 1994, round 16 MCG. And Croft.
Oh, yeah, strong. And that was in that year. It was Crofty and Keenan Reynolds. They were the two that would keep swinging.
Yeah, yep. The big forward line, you think about it, Wind or Ilya Grigic is in the forward line when he's not on ball. You've got Croft and you've got Grant. So you've got three blokes all 6'4" or bigger. It's a big forward line.
Crofty, another one of the 21-year-olds playing for the Dogs in this game at this stage of his career. Well, they've missed a lot of shots. They've missed another.
Tightened then.
He was king of the sheaf toss, Crofty. He would get out there with the sheaf toss back in Mildura and compete. The Mildura Fair, I think it was.
Explain that again, the what?
The sheaf toss. So it was basically where they get a big bag of something, I don't know, throw it over the top of a bar, I think it was, the sheaf toss. So we used to talk about the sheaf toss all the time.
S-E-A-F.
Yes, sheaf toss.
Right. We'll have to Google that when we get home down. We're not country boys like Crofty obviously was. Back towards half forward. Keep your tweets coming. Naish about to pounce on it. Goal square across the face a little. Richo's hunting it down. Oh, he nearly took Westy out. Well played, Westy.
Yeah, keeps his head over it.
Don't know about you, Dwayne, but there wasn't a lot of sheafs in Frankston or Paraka.
No, there's a lot of cattle in Paraka, but no sheafs.
Yeah, I think he used to go to the Melbourne show and do it. Actually, compete at the Melbourne show.
Making this up
I'm
now.
not.
Hey. So he could have.
He lived around the corner. We always used to park at his place for a birdie beetle show bag, and he'd go to the sheep toss.
Well, you're bringing back the memories now. The birdie beetle show bag.
That's it.
Yeah. Campbell takes it out. Wow.
How did he throw it?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Was it like a boundary umpire thing, or was
I think
it
so. A flick. It was a launch over the top,
Hulk Hogan style.
From what I could, I'm just trying to remember the way he used to describe it.
Oh. Wow.
Sheaf.
Onto the back of the ute, was it? As a farm?
Off the back of the ute.
Okay, maybe. Gale weaving his way through the traffic off the back of somebody's head towards half forward. Slapped out. Tunneled forward. Knights hands it up. Big Greg Deere on the run. Poetry in slow motion from a three-time Hawthorn Premiership star.
I recall around this era, so I was left to Hawthorn pre-season 94, before the season 94, and Mel Brown had a bit to do with the Tigers. And he rang me and said, I thought, he's going to make an offer. And he said, no way, we don't want you. Anyway, he asked me about Greg Deere. And I said, he's just an outstanding citizen, very good ruckman, very good for your club, will be very good for your team. There'll be better ruckman in the comp than him by now, but he's just an A-grade citizen to have around your young team.
Well, this is just his 14th game for the Dogs at this stage. So they're crunch. Luke Beveridge jumped on by Wayne Campbell.
He's got the same body shape there, hasn't he?
Hasn't changed.
Yeah, and neither's the hairdo.
There's a hobble. I'm not sure he can take his kick here. He's asking someone else to, do you have to be hurt to give your kick up?
Just coming onto the ground as well.
Yeah.
I think are they Gola boots? G-O-L-A?
Wow.
No, they're Deodoras. Deodora. Yeah, we were sponsored by Deodora at the club.
Well, he hands it off to Leon Cameron, off and running.
Work better.
Goal square, Ilya, no, wind.
Yes.
Big windy on the line.
That's that big forward line.
He's got to handle this off. Aussie's calling for it. No.
So you got those three big men there, and Aussie's playing the lead-up centre-half forward.
So he's already kicked one from the goal square, Windy.
Brownlow medalist in 92. Shows us why.
You're guilty.
A couple of Bulldog Brownlow medalists in this game. Scotty Wind, of course, and it's amazing to think that Libba won the Brownlow, and there's Dougie.
Oh, he's putting
not coming back.
He thought it was a chance for Bevo, I think. Get ready, Hawk.
Yep.
Bevo's injured.
Yeah, he would have had his fingers crossed. Bevo snapped something then.
Libba had played just 37 games the night he won his Brownlow. 37 games.
That's amazing.
Well, he did the Morris,
Gardner and
the Gardner,
Brownlow.
and Brownlow. He won all three in all three grades when there was under 19s reserves and obviously
the seniors.
So still no Dougie Hawkins, still no John Howard, still no Brian Lees. They're still on the bench and we're heading close to half-time. They haven't even had a run yet. And it's a tight one. Grigic and Deere, Rowan Smith.
Good kick.
Front spot though, and a good mark to Kellaway in front of Croft. Ken Reynolds pushed forward now, playing from behind. No. Maybe pushed up to the wing west. Campbell. Straight down the spine. Good delivery. Rogers. Richo leads. Honours the lead. Can he get there, Richo? Hits the deck. Little pickup was good. Oh, that was a throw.
Talk about Crofty's toss. What is it, sheaf toss?
Sheaf toss.
That was a sheaf handoff.
That was beautiful. Grant over the back. A little tap on didn't quite work for Richard Osmond, so he nearly got an assist. Campbell straight down the middle again. Deere. Crunch, little Westie in his way. Libba dives in. Libba and Bond. There's that battle again. Back to Scotty West. Bounced to Osmond. Couldn't collect it first time. Can't collect it second time. And they dive on him, Tate and Kellaway, and hold it up.
Oh, that's worth another look, isn't it?
The throw. Was it?
Oh, look at that's a leap. That is the best I've seen.
Beautiful. Oh, David Campese didn't throw them that well.
It's the three umpire system at this stage as well. So the three out there and they all missed it. Hunter, Grant, Turner with the closing speed and the big hammer fist. Lukey Beveridge, I think he's injured. We'll cut him some slack. Grant around the body. Out on the full.
Wayne Campbell has been prominent in the last 3 or 4 minutes. At this stage, he was close to being, the best, an elite player in the competition, the top 4 or 5 midfielders. But he was probably the best penetrating, hard gut runner through the lines in the comp. He was sensational. He was picking the ball up and carrying it, going through the lines and getting yardage for his team.
Kellaway towards the wing. Cameron down towards Smith. Ken Reynolds cut off by Broderick. So a late chance to add to the score here for the Tigers. He plants the foot into it. Heads to the midfield to the leaders. Knights peels back to free. Richo, not this time. Crediok. Richard Osmond. Oh, Denny Southern, Richard Osmond getting each other's way. Clever from Richard. Oh, crept up behind him like a Tesla. There, Mark Neal near him coming. Beveridge out wide, hands it up. Great contest at the moment. Little bounce to half forward. Collect from Quill on the run. Can he finish? Oh, no.
What type of player was Quill? I remember him. Can't peg him for what he used to do.
He used to float between in centre bounce out to a wing, so he had pretty good endurance. Quilly is a thick body, as you can see there, so that's where he used to sort of float between mainly.
Problem for Jamie Tape. Might not be able to come back on.
Yeah, long and down the line.
Howard now on in the 31, so finally is getting a run, John Howard. Oh, Cameron.
Oh, nice.
What about that for a blind turn slip? Couple of bounces. Bangs the left foot into it. Grant can't mark it. Off hands, handball inside from Howard. So he's getting a couple of touches as the fresh man on. Free. Where's Richo? Half volley for Neal. Couldn't collect it. Neal goes back and gets it. Almost ball. Neal, great fake on his left. Cut off by West to Credihook. Danstep was clever. Croft, front of Kellaway.
Geez, if Duncan Kellaway got some votes in this game,
Crofty's got to be on the 3 then,
he must keep Crofty incredibly quiet after half-time.
Must be a big second half. Or blind turn from Turner. Big Greg Deere.
O'Deary. Oh, vision.
Field. Oh, he's on the run here.
Oh.
Normally a smooth mover. That was set up beautifully for him, and it was called back.
He's out by himself because he's against Westy.
Westy's really dominated this quarter, though.
So he should. He doesn't have an opponent.
1.5 minutes left, and Cameron drops in
that
front
was
of the
playing
back.
the wing in this era. You'd shake hands and see you later.
Everyone should be a good player if they don't have an opponent, Jono.
Especially with the spaces of the MCG.
Wallace to Quill. He pulls this kick short to Croft. Gets it back again. Aussie. Big early leap from Richard. Not enough.
Johnny Howard. He's a big, strong body, Johnny Howard.
Wide ball. Gale can't mark this one.
Oh,
Well done. Got to tackle him, boys.
Yeah, rode that bump beautifully, Hunter. Back towards Osborne.
Oh, that's a mark, wasn't
Jumps
it?
on Howard, not paid the mark. Gale to Knights.
Well done.
Fakes and gets away from Watts. Blasts it inside the last minute. Southern goes up. Rogers at the back. Smithy cuts him down. Could have been a little bit in the backish from Smithy. Not paid. Seconds tick down, 30 to go. Wallace hacks it out of the area. Broderick and Quill. Little outstanding slip. Deliberate slip from Broderick to Richo. Got it. And the flick of the hair. Flick the hair back.
But it is Richo, and I hope Matthew's watching, and I hope you don't take exception. He's 12 out, 12 metres out directly in front. It's not through yet.
This is a man that kicked 800 goals for his career.
Yeah, and 1,000 points. I'll back him.
Young 19-year-old on the siren of half-time. Oh, never in doubt. Half-time, Richmond skip out to a 17-point lead at the long change in front of 50,000 on a sunshiny day at the MCG. Round 6. You never know where a Fox Footy recall is going to go, Sarah. And when you're working with Derm and Jono, it could go anywhere. So, yes, maybe Doug Hawkins and some more sheet tossing in this second half. We're underway. 94, round 16 game at the MCG. Liberatore, third term. Collingwood, who's been good, can't bring that back enough. So 17-point margin to start this second half. And if you weren't with us earlier, both these teams are hot at this stage, and Doug Hawkins is equaling the great E.J. Witten's games record in this one with 321 games, and he's finally on. So he's been on the bench the entire first half, and now he's out there finally, the 34-year-old Doug Hawkins.
Looks beautiful too, Hawk, as a physical specimen. Although, like, you can tell with horses by their teeth how old they are. You can tell with Dougie how hairy his shoulders have gotten by this point in time.
Okay, they're Brendan Gale, speaking of hairy, he's been brilliant with that mop of Ramon's hair.
He looks Greekish, like a Greek god, doesn't he, from behind that.
So Dougie's shoulder hair was combable at this stage, you reckon, Derm?
Oh, Doug's got a good swathe of shoulder-ish hair.
So Brendan Gale start this third term with a bang here for the Tigers. At this stage, they're coming off a second last season in '93. Finished second bottom, the Tigers.
Oh, not good.
But they're on the way into the 8 at the end of this season if they can finish off with a flurry.
Look, he could be Guido Gale from behind there with that hairdo. Beautiful long
kick into his deer who got there.
Oh, don't take him on for pace, dearie.
Okay.
There's a man who knows his limitations. Good lead by Neil.
Oh, again, he's a decoy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mark Neal. He's let up well.
Okay. Thought you're going to quote Dirty Harry for me there, Dermot.
I was thinking of it.
Long kick, top of the square. Gale again.
Oh, he's got one in the eye from Keenan Reynolds.
Hasn't had a good time of it in defence this game, Keenan Reynolds. And there he is, Brendan Gale.
Starts from behind, forges his way to the front.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he got the craw.
Got the massage, didn't he?
Got the Maxwell Smart craw to the face.
Keenan not happy with Neely. Let's see if he can get a nice ball drop off the craw, not the claw, and get a goal from this one.
2 steps in motion.
Has he got it? No.
What's 2
So
misses?
yeah, he walks and then there's 2 steps in what you would call a jogging motion. It just seems a bit stilted. 18 to 21 shots.
John Northey, coach of the Tigers at the stage, 51-year-old in 223rd game as a coach, was just his 34th game as Richmond coach with Francis Burke and Graham Landy amongst his assistants. Westy, little chip kick was just required to Smith. 30-metre handball to Reynolds. Got away from Stewie Maxfield. Croft, front spot. Edwards right with him, got a fist away. Picks it up and flicks it out in the Knights and Free direction. The captain, Tony Free, keeps it moving. Gale, Bauer on the run. That's there. Gale needs to give them off more often.
Started well here, the Tigers.
Yeah.
First couple of minutes, dominating possession in the forward half of their ground and marking it inside 50 on the run. Numbers around the ball.
Double grab here on receiving the ball. So Bauer's in that pack. He double grabs the ball here, which normally puts a player, jump.
Oh, yeah.
Normally makes him a little rushed on the kick, but was able to resettle and kick truly.
I think the double grab just second grabbed it into the right spot in his hands almost, as if he was ready to kick in that perfect spot rather than shuffling it around. Atkins in that long sleeve jumper, the trademark, gets it to half forward. Osman tried to run and go. Little Libba. Hunter caught, dumped by Broderick. Libba again. Cameron on the back pedal, trying to moonwalk his way out of there.
He's got
unsuccessful. Atkins to one, slung. That wasn't holding the ball. Shoveled out in the end of Broderick. Gets some protection. Puts the slipper into it to Richardson, lace out.
Oh, they're getting a sniff of it in the midfield when the ball turns over in the Tigers' favour now. They are charging forward.
Couple of big tackles, though. That one on Scotty Wind in particular. I think it was Tony Free.
Too many doggies are running forward of the footy at this point in time, and if they get one person taken down, there's nobody. There were 3 Tigers there who could have raffled that going forward.
So again, the 19-year-old Matthew Richardson, who's still messing with his routine at this stage. I think he's been told at half-time to go back a little further from the man on the mark.
Look at that.
Still nearly kicked it into him. He's got it. Richo's got 3.
Worth a look at, isn't it?
That worked for him, didn't he? Another player who has a big run-up these days is Benny Brown. And this is equivalent from Richo.
Well, Richo's is the walk-up.
Yeah, it is. Very slow walk-up. Same amount of time taken.
Yeah, to the right.
This was it. This was the...
See, there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
4 of them side onto each other. So the doggies are just getting a little bit ahead of themselves at the moment in the midfield. I'm going to blame Westy again. Come on, Westy, lock on.
He's had 25 to this stage.
Yeah, I know.
He's doing all right.
Hang on, he's going to come into a good shepherd, Westy.
29-point lead, biggest margin of the game right now. Dogs are on the ropes here. Atkins a little wide with that kick. Liberatore being hunted down. Got it to Reynolds. Free kick, didn't have it. Daffy, that was a little slick.
I thought the
Daffy
swinging
knocked it.
arm.
Ooh,
Oh,
hang
that's
on.
got to be
Not happy.
high. The slinging arm.
Turned over.
Knocked it free. Yeah, that's the right decision. You can't do that. Tape has been playing on him. Yep. That's Freezer.
Go! Oh, with the Toby. The Toby Green.
We'll play that to Brendan at some stage this year.
Wow. Others did do it before Toby did it and got away with it. Free.
Oh, he's giving him one Oz too.
yeah.
That'll go on there behind play.
Edwards can't get it out. Atkins, it's some heat in this kitchen right now. Little Liberatore won't mind the heat.
Ozzy's pointed to the pocket.
Grant
Goes
over his
over.
head.
There he is.
And the umpire says, I'll have it. Collingwood thought it was his free.
I thought he marked it, Colin.
Turner's hurt.
Actually.
He's got one in the gob here. Oh, he's winded.
One of the worst feelings in football. If you
isn't
win
it?
You just can't get
Isn't
any
it?
air.
Mouth guard in, you know where in. Oh, it's terrible.
Let's have a look at it here. Yeah, bang. Got him in the midriff. Friendly fire. It's taken all the steam out of him.
Play on. Little slap out towards the Dougie Hawkins. There he is, the 34-year-old who actually passes E.J. Witten's record the week after. And E.J. handballs in the ball in one of the great moments.
Started a fantastic tradition at the Bulldogs. Lucky enough to be a part of that in the latter part of my career where Ted Whitten Jr. was involved and Dougie and Granny.
Don't know if you're ever going to hand it on to anyone else, though.
Oh, it'd be nice to. It'd be nice to get all those guys back and someone break the record.
Someone will have to play 500.
Yeah, tweet in your Dougie Hawkins memories if you're a Bulldog fan or a Fitzroy fan for that matter.
Wow.
Well, he's got plenty on it. It's bounced off the post, or is it punched back into play? Play on. Grant.
They all stopped. Grandy stopped.
Richard Osman. Richard Osman has kicked a goal while they've all stopped.
He's been under the pump, this goal umpire, but he's stood strong.
Neildy's pretty confident.
It wasn't as if the ball was travelling quick enough for it to bounce out as far as it did off the post.
Yeah, because they're padded, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Since it gets a slow ball in.
Channel 7, they flick from... so they flick from cameras.
Oh, it may have, actually.
Yeah, missed everyone. Well, Neildy's the closest, and that's not the demonstrative actions of somebody who's going to try and bluff his way.
That's right.
Yeah, no review. Play on. 12-8 to 7-15. Let's keep going.
You've got to accept it. That's the rules.
Jamie Tate gets a little roller. Rowan Smith in front of Rogers. Race on. Boundary line might beat them both here. Smithy content to roll that out.
Didn't you love that as a player? You'd beat someone to the boundary, you'd get an applause for tapping it over.
Scotty Turner having a spell on the bench. Atkins into space. Scotty West, nice collect. Maxfield, though, splendid tackle. And it's still pretty hot in the middle. 3 umpire system at this stage. Brian Sheehan, Brett Allen, Jeff Caulfield.
There you go, Dwayno. You can answer this one. Was Keenan Reynolds ever called just Reynolds by commentators? Or was he one of those players where you must say both names?
That's a very good point. For some reason, we just get lured into that.
Keenan Reynolds. There was a Russell Reynolds, I reckon, played for St Kilda in the early 70s. He just got Reynolds, from my recollection.
See if I can get my brain to just say Reynolds next time he gets it. Dear. Thumps it. Creddy hook, front spot.
How powerful was he? He's playing at 6'1", maybe 6, maybe push 6'1.5", against all the big monsters.
Extremely. And super fit.
Angry.
All of the above.
Smithy, little dribbler there after the bounce was nice. Kick wasn't so good. Cheerio to you, Smithy.
How angry was Smithy?
He was a lover, not a fighter.
300 gamer for the Dogs. There's the Hawks, still can't get a piece of it. This is his last season at the Dogs, by the way, Dougie Hawkins, before he does play that year at Fitzroy. Little wide ball and it rolls out of play in front of Croft and Rogers. Yeah, the game's record holder now sitting with us, Brad Johnson. Chris Grant, a few have moved past the great EJ. But at this stage, Dougie had drawn level with EJ, who held the record to this point in time in 1994.
It was a great time to be around the club, only being young and learning about, you know, these players, and then that with EJ in the past, and now Doug breaking the record. It was a huge time to be around the club.
Yeah, Chris Grant passed it, and Scotty West also passed EJ's 3:21. Westy with 3:24 in the end. Edwards to Tape, had it but dropped it. Gee, big hip and shoulder. Broderick's jumped in. Campbell over the top.
This is stepping up with intensity and poundage of body v body.
Jamie Tape from Woodville, West Torrens, or a place called Kabowie, which is the kind of place when the tide goes out, you've got to walk out about 5K to get your feet wet.
Kabowie, that sounds like a cartoon print over a Batman punch.
You've got to wait till the tide's in before you can walk out to your knees. Knights.
Hasn't had much of it. Every time he has it, though, something happens for the Tigers.
His hairstyle hasn't changed not at all.
Free, the captain of Richmond in 94 towards... Well, Murphy's on now. Justin Murphy. That looked in the backish from Rogers there, and it was. So first time we've seen Justin Murphy for the game, halfway through this third term, and he gets a run for the first time, the 18-year-old in game 6, Justin Murphy. Grant, good early leap, hang time, and ball taken well out in front of the eye so no one can punch it away.
More methodical, aren't they, the Doggies, than the Tigers?
Cameron tried to steal it from Liberatore.
A knee in the head there.
Knights. Speaking of great battles with Libba.
That was a big one.
That was a ripper.
Yep.
Well,
not
depends on how you look.
No.
Depends on how you look at it. Yeah. Wine. Alongside him, Deere, Brownlow medalist against a 3-time premiership player. Atkins scoops it up. Long launch. Goal square. Keenan Reynolds. Moved. Tape. Handball towards the boundary, or taken out of bounds.
There was your chance, Dwayne. You said Keenan Reynolds. You had to go Reynolds.
It's the default.
So Crofty has gone back for Keenan Reynolds now, you would assume? Keenan Reynolds is forward, definitely.
Yeah,
Reynolds.
so Crofty would have to... Reynolds is forward.
Sorry, Reynolds.
Hawkins knocks it out. Kellaway, Maxfield. Yep, they roll off the tongue as surnames only. Rogers, Smith, Bond, Gale, back to Bond. Brilliant flick. Ooh. Slips on the kick, gets it to half forward. Croft off hands. Straight to Bond. And he barrels it inside 50. Richo got it on the way back.
I must say, the last 2 times the ball's gone inside forward 50, Dougie's a stay-at-home forward pocket. Come on, Joyce, he's a peacock. You've got to let him fly. Get him up on the wing. He's getting just smothered down there.
Yep.
All right.
A little flick of the hair, too, just before he walks in. Fringe just wafting in the breeze.
The long run up.
Yeah.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
19-year-old wannabe bass player for the Ramones kicks across the face.
26 paces in that run-up. You can run in too long.
Oh, a couple of good hair in the crowd too in 94.
Richo supporter. There's a lot of rock band players in there too.
Crediuk.
I thought he was going to kick a torp there.
Straight down the middle into the square. There's a different method. Cameron.
Leo. Nice.
Great grab. It's having a pretty good game, actually, apart from the one that went through his hands. Croft gets back, flicks it on. On the run, Colin bounce. Oh, gets his way past him, and with ease, kicks his third. Dogs are on the way back here.
It looked, Jono, like he'd just taken one bounce too many, but he cut a little angle back into the centre, and it must have thrown the Richmond tackler off. So that's one kick in, one mark, one kick to the forward line, scrimmage, goal.
Yep.
There, just see him just zag a little bit to the left.
He could seriously play.
Clever, isn't he?
Very clever. Very.
24 years of age in game 88 at this stage. Steve Collingwood, he's got 3, and the Dogs are on the way back. 3. Marked by Croft. Oh, no, she wasn't paid.
No, he called him play on because he went off the line.
Wow, critical. Being run down, just got a kick away in time. Cameron eased his man out, wanted to run back onto it, but Maxfield got there first. Kellaway. Murphy takes off. Mongrels one inside 50. Hard to mark. Critical read it well. Little Libber hands it back. Drop step inside. Delightful. Back towards the wing. Grant all the way up to the wing now. Neiled. Moved back to play on him. Maxfield. Back towards the top of the 50. Ilya, Gale, Knights. He dropped that into a tackle by Wallace. How clever was that? Probably should have been ball, but it was clever.
Yep. The second umpire should have picked that up. It's a beautiful kick of the footy. Even at this young age, you just knew he was going to be damaging by foot.
How you see, is that ball? Holding the ball?
Yeah,
Clearly.
the ball. Yeah.
So Matthew Knights got plenty on it, not quite enough. Murphy stays in play, and he's missed it, I think. He has.
Quite a journeyman, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He was sharp earlier. I remember he had an immediate impact when he was first put on the Tigers jumper and kicked some goals early, and then he moved on. You can see there, Richmond to Carlton, Geelong, back to Carlton again, and then Essendon.
Remember that?
I didn't realise that he went back to Carlton, that one there.
That stint at Essendon 2004-05, he had a big punch-up with Simon Bowman in the
he did too.
Big Blue game.
Weren't they going to catch up or something afterwards?
Against Hawthorn.
They were good mates.
No, I don't think they spoke again after that.
Keep those memories coming, boys. We're loving it. 1994. What an era. Free. The Crumb, and Murphy's got it again. Oh, he's got the one over the top. No. Let's go back and kick the goal.
Oh, you're going to have to kick it now.
Oh, well, he was listening. Nida was just telling him to settle down, young man.
Critiuk holds him up enough, just harasses him.
Yeah, Critiuk knows what's there, so...
So 18 years of age, Justin Murphy in game 6. To steady the ship for Richmond after this Bulldog surge. It's drifting a little, it's drifting a lot.
Cost his team 5 points there, Bradley.
He did.
Have a look at this.
It's Richo.
And make no mistake, he'd have been screaming.
He's doing star jumps. Kick it to me.
He's yelling.
Oh, we'll give him credit. He'll work the mark really well there.
Oh, come on.
Early leapers go up. Campbell went up way early.
Free kick. So it was a 1-on-3, and the one wins it.
Kimmy Costa.
So Costa spent most of the game on the bench at this stage as well, so finally gets on in the third quarter. Hunter. Osborne.
Oh,
It's
that's
under
free.
it by Tape. Grant overran it slightly. Neil's been pushed back to defence.
Look at it.
Falls and a ball in. So they were 29 points up, Richmond. But the Dogs are on the way back here.
Yep. Mark Neal stepped into the world of basketball now, running basketball Geelong.
Yeah. They're never really out of it, though. Even though they were 29 down, it was poor kicking that got them there. They had their fair share of the footy.
Libba, Costa. So the fresh legs getting a couple of touches. The Hawk hasn't had a big milestone game, the 34-year-old, has he?
I tell you what,
Callaway touched it.
the Brownlow medalist 2 voter for this game, Duncan Kellaway, he was a fine player, but does he touch it at any stage? Is this a Klomp? What was his name?
Yep, Robert Klomp.
Robert Klomp of South Australian, who got the 3 votes off Lou and he had 2 touches. This is Robert Klompish.
No, I'm not sure it was 2 touches, but I like the exaggeration. Don't wreck a good story with the truth. There are the 3, 2 and 1.
He's got 2 votes there. He wants to get it a hell of a lot in the last quarter.
The story is, though, if you haven't heard the Robert Klomp story, that he did win the telly with very, very minimal possessions. Watts.
Well,
I think it was 7 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He must have had 13 in the last quarter, Callaway.
Danny Southern breaks away.
For the game.
Hunter on the move. 28-year-old Mark Hunter.
Poor kick.
On the head of Wine. Good collect from Costa. Ran to a brick wall. Campbell just hacks it out of the area with a torque. Hunter's got it back again. On the run, surely. And he has. Class act. Mark Hunter.
Oh, show Libba going to Cambo there. I reckon he'd have given him a mouthful.
Just a quick kick out, and Mark Hunter was just in the perfect spot. He loved these opportunities. When he had time and space, beautiful kick of the footy, Mark Hunter.
He's a good player.
Yeah.
Very good service to the doggies over that bit, and did well against them. He got a couple of games, I reckon, against the great Lee Matthews early in his career, back pocket playing against Lee, and did well.
So from 29 points down to 13 points down, the Dogs on a surge here.
Oh, there's one.
Kellaway. No wonder he got votes. Hammers it back out. It's going to be coming back, though. Scotty West.
Oh,
Hawkins.
Yes.
No!
That's his only kick he's had.
No, he hit the post, didn't he?
Oh, it's true, he did. Yep. Westy.
That was good.
Blasted back. Kim Costa's coming. Hawkins.
Oh, he's
takes the back down. Campbell, playing advantage. Wayne Campbell spears that. Danny Southern overcommitted. Rowan Smith mops up his little mess there. Caught, though, by Murphy. Rowan had his pocket picked.
This is getting hot.
How can you pay that one and not pay the Matty Knights one earlier?
Don't be barracking.
Joking, mate.
Bulldogs games record holder Brad Johnson with us for the commentary. This one's going to go down the wire. You can feel it. Richardson on the boundary. Tries the early dribble. The 1994 version of the dribble.
Look at Brendan Gale was in the middle of the goal square.
Love it.
Love it. Give it to me. Richo would have put the blinkers on and turned away a bit like that, I reckon.
Back in 94, there would have been a few players thinking, gee, Dacos has got a thing here. I might try and see if I can do that.
It's a good call.
Peter Dacos does, but no one could do it like Dakes did it until the modern era when everyone wants to do it. Hunter gets the kick away. Daffy caught. Collingwood puts the pressure on. Central kick. Rogers got there. Couldn't bring the mark down. Congestion.
Richo's got a leg in there somewhere. There you go.
Here's Rowan. Here we go. We get a little momentum swing here. Gale doing the ruck work, thumps it down in the back.
See what happened there. Now, Maxfield is Westy's opponent, still standing the mark, trying to harass. Westy's already gone.
Yep.
He's left the scene. He was so smart, even as a young player.
Bauer puts the Jets on, gets there in front of Cameron, but he shut him down. Grant coming back the other way. Wants to keep it alive, can't. His pocket picked by Neal, who can't collect it and run. Ball in. So 31 seconds left in this third term. Dogs were 29 down at one stage. Earlier in this quarter, Liberatore fighting hard. Quill bangs it back, and they steal a late one here. A dive, and he's been paid it, Granny. See what he does with this. Wouldn't know how long left. Seconds are ticking. Shields his eyes from the sun. Pulls the kick late. Pocket. Cameron. So Leon Cameron, the Giants coach, with a little hobble on the siren.
Just looking at Grandy as he kicked that. What did he go at, 105?
105 he was, drafted.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good value. He was a 17-year-old, I think, when he went.
He was, because he kicked 50 goals as a 17-year-old in his first year of footy.
There's Joycey. Alan Joyce.
Took over from Terry Wheeler earlier in the year. Big kick this for Leon Cameron, the 21-year-old at this stage. And he's missed it. Only 8 behind. So 12-point margin, Richmond's way, three-quarter time, round 16, 1994. We might have just the 1.5 metre away
bum tap.
So it's a mock bum tap. Maybe. We can't have contact.
Yeah.
Not for the next little while. Final term underway. 12-point lead to the Tigers. This round 16, 94 game. Hope you're enjoying it. Brad Johnson, Dermot Brereton and Sarah Jones with us to bring it to you. Quick kick to half forward. Richard Osmond hasn't had a big afternoon just yet. Aussie.
Had a good first quarter. been well held. He's got to the ball when it's coming in the second and third quarters. That's a definitive lead. Hit up. Great kick.
And he was attempting a career as an NFL punter a year before this, so he can crank up here. Oh, gee, give him a rap. That's across the face. Thump away. Grant, had the crumb but lost it. Kellaway almost caught him high. Luke Beveridge gets away from them. Bends it back. Hits a pretty good spot. Osman. Thump clear of him. Turner, who was injured in that third, but he's back. Tape with a little back paddle. And Edwards content to see it out for the Tigers.
Didn't see a Dougie Hawkins in that exchange in the forward line there.
So Dougie Hawkins in this milestone game, seen about 4 minutes. Kick around the body is... What was that? Was he...
Overhooked.
Tape was in defence. Is he trying to rush it behind?
Jeepers.
I think he was.
He missed.
He used to love when there's Doug's disposals in this game so far.
You're not the only one who had a poor 94, Doug.
Brian Lees on the bench for Richmond has not come on.
Used to love Granny in these positions. He was so good.
It's a beautiful kick of the footy, wasn't it? That's Leesy, he's another one who played under 19s and reserves football at Hawthorn before Richmond said, we reckon you're better than that, and we think you can play league footy. Went to the Tigers.
It's amazing you think you can get into a last quarter of a game and not have used one of your interchange players, though. Ended up being a 4-time premiership player in the Sandful for Port Adelaide. Is an icon of the Port Adelaide Magpies. Now Leesy, but he hasn't had a run in this one yet. Turner, who's been blasting it as far as possible, gets it into the middle of the ground again. Gale flies. He's had a ripper game. West, Collingwood. Costa, who spent the first half on the bench.
He's been good since he's come on a few minutes before three-quarter time.
He pumps it. Getting back, Turner, but he spills it. And then he has to find the boundary.
Stunt Kellaway had another possession yet?
Defensively good, though.
Oh, so was Robert Plump.
Costa down to free. Kick smothered from the scramble. Knights try to knock it to the boundary. Hunter's got it. Costa. West dropped it. Ball, they scream. Collingwood.
This is good footy.
Absolutely, and it stays alive. So Knight slips a little handball over the top to Rogers. Hunted down by West. Rogers keeps it alive. Tight ropes to boundary. Keeps it running. Gained about 30. And Brendan Gale pretty happy with his work.
How good is this footy, Bradley? You're watching contests and players colliding with each other, but you're still getting pretty good skills.
Yep.
Keep your tweets coming in if you're on Twitter watching this. Hashtag Fox Footy. Wine knocks it down. Back towards the boundary. Hunter. West. Scoops it away. Liberatore knocked it out. But Campbell, another matador move. Just lifted over his head. Heads toward Gale. Edged out. No free. Nash at the back. Wallace right with him. And wore him like a glove to the line. Oh, free kick.
Well, Crofty almost tunnelled Brendan Gale then, so they're probably -1 on the free kick count, and that one's a little fortunate.
So Nash, 143 games for Richmond, 18 for Port Adelaide. Son Patrick now in Dad's number 6. A couple of games for the Tigers.
It's a dreadful free kick.
In he comes. Goal square, early rise. Richo, beaten for a buck. Crediuk paid the mark.
Just said to the umpire. He's argued with him while his man's run off.
Yeah, don't chase. Umpire might overturn it if you argue well enough. Rogers. Costa drags him down, but Rogers is about to send it back. Dogs have the numbers behind the ball. Richo, he's stolen that one. He's plucked it, and he hasn't been paid it.
Oh, he won't like it.
No.
Oh, he's punched the ground.
Mark Niels, well played. Saved the day.
He's a star, isn't he?
Oh.
It's one of the reasons why everybody loved Richo so much. Hard on the sleeve, emotion.
He was a soap opera.
Didn't hide anything.
No, he's brilliant, isn't he?
Yep. And one of the most loved players ever to have played the game. Not just from Richmond fans, but
But what he did, but then he nearly won the Brownlow from a wing.
Yeah.
And that year was phenomenal.
Still, we still love him.
Absolutely, we do. Cheerio to you, Rich, if you're watching. Out wide towards Hunter, heads to Costa. Doing a pretty good job with Campbell now. Hands it inside to Watts. Dogs on the move again. Half forward, Beveridge.
Oh, he's outmarked. He's outmarked the two-voter. If a goal results in it, there's no way you can give Duncan Kellaway 2 votes.
Lifted that over the head of Turner into space for Grant, cleverly there.
Didn't break stride, Granny. Super kick there from Bevo. You just see the little nod too.
Yes.
Yep.
Set up. An early push by Grant with the left arm into the sternum of Scotty Turner. Just denied him.
2 goals so far for the afternoon for Chris Grant. From 29 points down, Dogs on the way back.
Watch the face.
Grich! Big Ilya finally gets both gloves on the ball.
Edwards unable to be in that contest in reality there. Oh, Dunk Kellaway beaten in a one-on-one on the half-forward flank.
And there's a kick in it early in this last quarter.
What do you think when you see the cheer squad there, Johnny? Do you think they're good people? What do you think?
I used to sit amongst them when I was a youngster. My cousins were in there and I used to jump in every now and then.
Tape has literally fended Edwards away from the spoiling position there. Keep them coming.
Yep, keep those tweets coming. Hashtag Fox Footy. Love your involvement. Big finish coming up to this. Wine slaps it all the way to half forward.
Hang on.
Kellaway's there. Oh, clever. Caught by Libba, though. Gale. Broderick. Rogers. Naish front spot. Couldn't get the rise. Howard does. Hammers it towards the square. It's a little wide, though. Neil won't be able to get there, you wouldn't think.
He's gone back up forward now, Neil.
Yep.
That's symptomatic of the Tigers around this era. They were a very emotional team, and we saw them in the third quarter. 3 or 4 of them would run all in the one direction. That passage of play there, leave it to one person to win the ball at the other end, and 3 or 4 of them run forward with the footy.
Naish up against the boundary, little roller. Critical, right place, right time. And well, did he handball it to Wallace or
You think of what we've seen with GWS over time, and you just that's the run and gun they get from half back, and they get 3 or 4 numbers and off they go, similar to what Richmond are doing in this game.
Yeah, but GWS seem to be quite balanced in terms of win the contest, and then they go, we're all in, whereas the Tigers aren't chasing all that hard out of the middle, relying on somebody to win it, and then they go forward. That's a great grab.
So Benny Gale about to send it back for the Tigers.
Did he get 3 today in this one?
Yep.
Yeah, he's best on.
Broderick on the move. He spanks it long, goal line. He could have left that, Richo. He takes the mark on the goal line.
Yeah.
Oh, Richo!
Oh, no, well played, Richo. If you're unsure, Derm, you've got to mark it.
The only thing that could have happened then is double grab it and the second one on the outside of the line.
I'm glad this rule has changed because he's marked it dead in front, and look where he's going to have to kick this from.
I hope he shanks it.
Yeah.
Just for the display.
Hang on.
Yes!
So Richmond inspired at the moment. So Richmond are coming off finishing second last the previous year, 93. They lost a few early in this season, 94, but coming into this game, they've won 4 games in a row, and they're up to 8th, which is just inside the top 8. So they're inspired right now. They might be able to play finals.
This is just about the time when they turn the corner, but I think they were 7-0 or 6-0 at the start of 95, the next season. And that man who kicked it in there, Broderick, became a very, very good midfielder for the Tigers. Centre circle type player midfielder in the next couple of years.
So a little settler for the Tigers, and a mark to free after Hunter kicked it straight up in the air. Hands it over to Broderick, as Dermot was talking about. Daffy on the wing. Hasn't had a lot on it, but he gathers this inches from the grass. Howard goes up, can't mark it. Hits the deck. Good attack from Knights. Feeds it inside. Kellaway, another touch. Broderick on his left. Sends it long. Where's Richo? He's up late. Took the pack down. No mark. Wallace. A steadier. Back out towards Costa on the run. Campbell and Costa. Oh, Jono. He drove off and left his copy on the roof. Back towards half forward. Close to the boundary, and we'll get a ball in.
I'm laughing to because that is my favourite of all time. Dwayne dropped that in China last year when a St Kilda player bounced the ball and stuffed it up, and I lost it. And thank you, Dwayne, for bringing that back.
Back into play wide. West. Wallace.
Oh, Wally. You have a look at the last two kicks that have gone inside forward 50 for the Tigers. They've kicked to a number advantage to the Dogs. So it's once again, it's that positional kick rather than kick the ball to pure advantage.
Wallace to West. This is a cracker, this one. Grant. Turner with him. Turner thumps it away. Costa and Campbell. Oh, a little paddle back was sensational from Costa to Grant to West. There's that trademark early bounce and settle. And then the kick. Ilya overran it or nudged out. Take your pick. Free. Boundary line his friend, and he gets it there.
Yeah, he ran under it. It's good umpiring there. There was a little bit of a hand in the back to shove him further under it, but he was always running under it, so the umpire lets it go.
10.5 minutes left. Turner tried to blast it away. Liberatore tried likewise to get it to the top of the square, but it hit the side of his boot. Leon Cameron gets away from Knight. Splendid handball.
Look out.
Hits Smith on the run from 60. The Goldsmith, Rowan Smith. There's a kick in it.
It's a big bomb
That's
coming
a
off
bomb.
the back flank.
Don't worry, my phone is just lit up. What a goal from that was trademark, Smitty.
Yeah.
Handball receive, breaking through the middle of the ground.
If there's one
big launch.
If there's one view of Rowan Smith's career that you'll remember him for, it's this play. Bursting through the middle, receiving, good strong run, and a penetrating kick over 60 metres.
Dogs up and running. There's a kick in it. Tigers under siege. Little nudge to the back was okay. And the free kick is going to Bond. No, it's coming back. So the free kick for the nudge. Quill on the wing. Crowd settles. 49,878 at the G. Tate got there but left it behind. Costa, Campbell, Beveridge, they're all diving in.
Campbell got pinballed then.
Did?
Yeah, thought he'd get a free kick for that. Just got one a bit high.
Wayne Campbell with the long fringe. He was a splendid player. He was umpire's boss for a while. He was footy boss of the Giants. Gale, boss of the Tigers right now. Heads toward half forward. Through hands, Watts.
Well, he wants the right foot.
Dangerous kick, but if it works, and it works.
Oh.
The umpire's right down. Oh, the crowd roaring. No sympathy whatsoever.
None.
Umpire Jeff Caulfield's hit the deck.
I remember him.
So do I.
Yeah.
He would have been, well, was there any umpires that didn't take your number, dude?
No, I think he got me. He's got very much those 1920s hairdo. Yeah. I'll have a look in your eyes.
Here we go.
Read the scoreboard.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Who won race 2? Were the race results still on the scoreboard?
Would have been, absolutely. Would have been a few players still in 94.
Oh, yeah.
They used to write
one
their
right
bets
here.
down.
One right here.
Look at the back of your arm, see if that one got up in race 6, even though there's a game of footy to be won. Beveridge attacks it nicely, so too Cameron. Keeps it in front, just lost it last second. Kellaway, second best on ground in this game. Got out just in time. Bond, Howard, half volley from Gale, superb. Rogers on the run. Howard gets up, can't mark it. Knights, Rogers, mongrels it through hands, through Neil, off the chest of Southern. from the scramble. The chaos ball might work for them yet. Ball comes back towards Crediok. Dance step was delightful. West. Dogs off and running again. Westy. Plenty of time and space until caught. Hutter gets him out of trouble. Costa, another beautiful sidestep. An early bounce to settle. Hands it over Grant. Too far out to score. A bullet to Osman.
Stephen Crediok. Take a bow. There was all the traffic around him, all the pressure, and yet he still had the composure just to say, I'm going to sidestep this one so I can get away an accurate disposal. And it goes all the way to the other end.
Dogs are a-coming. Aussie, big kick. He's missed it, Richard Osman.
Come on, Oz.
Well, there'll be people watching this game who don't know the result. So barrack your team home here. 90 to 85, 5-point game. Tigers lead.
I can tell you Scotty will go long, though.
Turner does go long towards Maxfield. Thumped away. Boundary. Daffy content to see it out.
And Collingwood, he's got a bit of a clamp on Collingwood in the last 20, 30 minutes of play.
Gale doing the ruck work, just rips it out of the air. Wobbles one back towards the wing. Rogers, Broderick.
Good last quarter.
Lace out to Howard, who's given them something since coming off the bench. Neal, front spot. Southern's there, so too Crediok. They combine beautifully. Southern's gone down behind play. Bouncing not Crediok's forte here.
He's done well, though.
Until now. Oh, Campbell back the other way like a steam train. Took to Sheeran, ran off, and he hits Richo, hands it over. Murphy, Richo, goal square, Maxfield. Unselfish, well worked, dangerous, but delightful.
This is an awesome game.
Look at it. How good is it?
It is fantastic.
How good was Wayne Campbell? Then just to stand firm. Crediok fumbling along the wing there, and just to step through. And look at the fans are going nuts. They can see what's forward of the ball.
Look at Brad Bowman. Very disappointed when Shuey Maxfield left the Tigers at the end of the next season, went up to the Sydney Swans.
Yep, he did.
And became a great player for them as well.
Sure did.
Captained them, I think, as well, the Sydney Swans for a little while.
Little Liberatore, where you expect him to be. Bottom of the pack. Caught by Kellaway and Broderick.
He's been really good in this final quarter. Broderick.
28 possession game in this one for Libba. He's in the middle of it every time. Ball knocked down. Quill can't get away with it. Kellaway gets a kick of 3 metres. It's Croft. 2 spins into trouble. Little funnel from Kellaway. Krigic, his kick smothered. Now he hacks it out of the air. Any metres gained to win. Ball to the back. Grant tried to get it and run. Beveridge, he blasts it. Goal square. No mark to wind.
Sorted himself out very well through the traffic then.
Yeah, very sharp.
10-point game.
Just love the contest, Bevo. That's what I remember. Even at training, just physical.
31
Really
scoring
physical.
shots to 26, and Scotty ain't going short. He is! Oh, it still goes outside 50.
Broderick, he actually hit a chest with this one. To Campbell, who's playing some sort of game. Wayne Campbell towards Murphy and Smith. Smith and Murphy. And Howard can't keep it in. Crofty, everyone taking a deep breath. This one is going down to the wire. 6 minutes, 10 points. That's the equation. Gale, who's been best on ground. Big Elliott, who spent most of the afternoon at full forward. Gale again. Liberatore jumps in. John Northey.
Hasn't really made as many moves as his counterpart in the Doggies camp.
He could make a move and bring Brian Lees on. He's still sitting on the bench without having a minute of a run yet. Kellaway back inside 50. Where's Richo? Couldn't get near it. Naish. Croft. Little roller back towards the wing. Gale. Oh, good fake.
Candy.
Dogs have the numbers, and Crediok solid as ever.
He's had a fantastic final quarter.
Straight down the spine. Time of the essence now. Knocked down towards Bond. Slick hands. Broderick. Slick hands. Howard can launch it. Got plenty of it, but it's wide. Richo! Or he plays on the kid, the 19-year-old, maybe to seal the win, but he's missed.
Berated himself.
So Danny Southern, still 2 kicks in it. And again, straight down the middle. Waste no time. Gale with him, Grigich. Cameron, front and square Crum. Bond can't get past Libba.
That's the first time since the first 3 minutes of the first quarter that Brendan Gale has been in position to mark and has not brought it down.
Gale works his way to the front. Libba again where the ball drops. Hunter to West. Little Scotty West, 19 years of age at this stage, and a good mark to Daffy. Hasn't had a lot of it, Nick Daffy, but some important possessions. This is just his 18th game for the Tigers. Libba. Caught. Crowd screaming ball. I don't get it. Good tackle, Duncan Kellaway. Umpires would have seen that.
Umpires did see that.
That's Brian, isn't it?
Yep.
Bouncing the ball. Brian Sheehan.
Brian Sheehan.
Good on
Liberatore again.
He got me as well.
Daffy.
Oh, kicked him.
Oh, did he trip him?
He slung the foot out and took his foot out. Well, I shouldn't say kicked him.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll take that back. It sounds very callous, but
Daffy to Campbell to Murphy. Shut down by Rowan Smith. Good closing speed from Smithy.
a little Dustin Fletcherish, the way he
was cheeky.
Tried to throw the ankle out there, and Danny's getting a few stats now for the kick-ins and the bring the ball back.
Murphy barrels it to the goal square. A goal that's over. Southern takes an absolute ripper. What about that for a saving grab?
He's brilliant, man.
Keeps them alive. To Wallace.
3v1, that's a big mark.
Costa.
That's a big mark.
He would have been your most interesting teammate, Danny Southern. What an interesting and fantastic guy.
Great man.
Spent part of his post-footy career living in Egypt. Have a story to tell, Danny Southern.
Africa, he spent a lot of time there. But places no white man has ever been. They're just unbelievable. Lived with tribes, and he's amazing life, that man.
Slammed in the deck. The umpire gets in the way again. Gale's gone down. Liberatore caught by Campbell. Croft dragged down by Howard. Free kick. So the Dogs still alive here. Richmond has pretty much led from the outset. They could steal it here, the Dogs. Hunter. Osborne. Thumb clear. Grant. Poise on his left. Keeps it low. Rolls it home. The superstar makes it a one-kick game.
Rolls Royce, how good is that?
So you're seeing Aussie's gone to the goal square now and will lead out of the goal square. The ball's not getting deep enough to Granty on enough occasions. Grant comes up to centre-half forward. So Aussie's come from the goal square. Grant's at centre-half forward now, going with the ball. So that's another positional type change.
Just the skill level of Granty. Like that left foot, how pure and natural
And
was that?
So 2 minutes, one kick. That's the equation now. Dogs a chance to steal it, and it's stumped all the way to centre-half forward. Collingwood one way, Liberatore the other. In the back, Libba's ball, but he's beyond his range here, little Libba. Kellaway perplexed. Osborne leads. Libba thumps it. Goal square, wind. Almost. Colin York. Behind. That was for the lead.
Well, there's no need to cover anyone short. You know, Scotty Turner's, he's going 60 by foot.
Here he is, Scotty Turner, who's been pumping it as far away as possible every time.
He's thinking, I'll get it as far away from Granty as I can.
He's looking for big Benny Gale, I think. All the way towards the wing. Benny's down there, three to beat, and he beats them all.
That's a massive grab.
Geez, played a Herculean game.
Yeah.
The Richmond CEO, that mop of hair, and he has dominated. 4 points still, 1:25 left. So he has to be clever with this kick. Pumps it down the line. Croft got there. Smith
Nice.
knocks it back forward.
Hang on.
Here we go. Quill, can he hit a chest? He handballs a little Libba. Can he hit a chest? Heads long, goal square. Back with the flight. Osborne can't mark it. Car crash. Campbell and Beveridge in a car crash collision.
That was huge. What about both players there?
I just see Freezer came over the top and tried to slam Bevo in the back of the head. What an attack on the footy.
That was huge.
50 seconds left. Richmond still hanging on. Dogs goal here and they win it. Osborne, can he kick it for them? Loops to handball inside. Westy. Cameron on the back pedal. On the left. She's got plenty on it. It might be home. Gale. Brendan Gale on the line has touched it.
Second grab over.
Oh, that's the game. That touch saved the game for Richmond. He hasn't just single-handedly saved the club in the last decade.
Yes.
He saved this game as well. Although Turner needs to hit a target here.
They've had 37 shots at goal, the Dogs, and they're going to lose more than likely.
Poor kicking.
He still needs to hit a target here. And he launches it again, overhead.
Massive.
Is that go? He gets it all the way to the wing. That's probably going to be enough. He outsmarted the lot of them. Bond on the run, down to 10 seconds. That should do us surely. Wallace, 6 seconds left. Watts, time's going to run out of them. Quill, and we've pulled another classic from the Fox Footy vault. How good was that?
What
a game. What a
brilliant game of football. And that should go into folklore at Tigerland, Brendan Gale's performance in that game. He should have got 4 votes and then just given 2 1 votes to the next blokes.